Old Town Road is catchy.
It's not, though. It's so bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's just the worst. It's like a slap in the face to music. That became a #1 song.
It really shows you where our culture is. Or was, at least.
It was.
4 years ago.
And somehow it's gotten worse.
Yeah. Did you ever hear the backstory of that song? He was just some dude. He just like put it on the internet. Lil Nas X. He just put it on the internet and it went viral. And then he got feature with Cyrus's dad.
Billy Ray Cyrus.
Billy Ray. And then
Can we not just let
crazy?
Can we not just let washed up musicians be washed up musicians? Do we have to keep letting them do things?
Keep wheeling them out for different featurettes?
Listen, yeah, I can't get into this right now. Hello, everyone out there. Welcome to Two Brothers, Five Things.
Welcome indeed. My name is Roman.
And my name is Cameron. And we're two brothers who are here to share our 2 cents on 5 things to escape the nonsense that life brings.
That's right. We're giving you permission to just not have to learn anything.
Don't.
I mean, you might learn something.
Maybe.
But that's not the goal.
I don't actually know if they will, because we're talking about a very interesting thing today that I think will be really fun. That it is. I'm just gonna spoil it. I'm gonna throw it out there right now.
Okay.
We're talking about.
They probably already saw the title.
Oh, that's a good point. The expertise we wish we had.
That's
Not
right.
expertise we know anything about, mind you.
No.
In fact, I know little to nothing about most of this. So I'm going to be just sitting here wishing I knew more about this stuff and talking about how I wish I knew more about this stuff.
Yeah, that's right. And so for you, is it...
Sorry.
All right?
Excuse me.
For you, is it for expertise you wish you had? Are these things that you wish you could do them overnight, but you don't want to put in the work to become an expert in this thing?
Obviously, you can be an expert in anything you want to do. If you just put in 10,000 hours?
Can you be an expert in anything you want to do?
I couldn't be an expert in being tall, but if I wanted to, I can't get into my list right now.
Well, what if you wanted to
What if I do the honorable mention right now?
What if you want to be an expert...
Did you say expert?
What if you want to be an expert like...
Exceptional pert.
What's the thing where you balance on the rope?
Tightrope walking.
Tightrope walking. But you just don't have the balance. Some people just aren't very good at balance.
Okay, maybe not anything you want to be good at. That's like telling a kid, you can be whatever you want. That's just not the case.
Sorry, pal.
Sorry,
you can't.
Bud. Yeah, you were created with unique gifts, and that's
you
not
can
one
do
of
the
them.
things that you can...
Yeah.
I don't know. I always start saying these things, and I don't know, sometimes I just fizzle out.
You did fizzle so fast. But yeah, I do think looking at my list here, I could do all of these things not fairly easily. I could do all of these things.
You could become an expert in them.
I could likely.
But you don't want it bad enough to put in the work.
There's one that's like not on there, like. And I'm not sure about, you may know, you're into art a little bit more than I am, but like to like be like an expert like illustrator, that probably should have been one of mine. But like to be able to draw like really well, I guess technically I could.
What do you mean technically? Technically it means you would have to have the technical skill,
right?
To
can you just learn to do that?
I don't think so.
I don't think anyone can.
I think that's something you got it or you don't.
You think so?
I think you could probably learn to draw pretty good, but to be like a world class.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, maybe. I don't know how the brain works.
I'm
not a scientist.
I've watched and people are just like, it's just basic shapes, and they do like a triangle, then they do a circle, then they do a square, and they do another triangle and another circle, and I'm just like, before you know it, I'm looking at a realistic rhinoceros. They're like, everything you do is basic shapes. And I'm just like...
Perspective.
I'm like, tell me more. I could be Van Gogh. I could be like such a great artist, but I never got my basic shapes down. That can't be right.
What's one thing that the audience would be surprised that you are an expert in? You do have expertise in.
Oh, that's a good question. I suppose for both of us, surprised would martial artiste.
Yes.
The martial art. Yes. Master Splinter. You went full on Master Splinter from Ninja Turtles.
Yes. We both have our black belt in Taekwondo.
Thank you. Yes, we do. That would probably make the most surprising, I think, for me. I don't know of. I'm good at a lot of things, but I don't know how much I'm an expert at. That's a good question. I should have probably thought about that going into this. What about you? Do you have one that's
See, you're scrambling. You're gonna throw it back on me. Put me on the spot.
I'm nervous, Roman.
I'm not an expert yet, but I bake bread. I bake sourdough bread.
That's true.
I'm learning.
You're pretty good at that.
I'm coming along. I just unlocked I had a big milestone yesterday.
Yeah.
Got that oven spring figured out.
Ooh, look at him go.
Woo, man.
Roman, none of us know what you're talking
Had a
about.
nice open crumb. Open, airy crumb.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so like that, I'm good at multiple things, and I think I would say passable at multiple things.
A jack of all trade, master of none.
Possibly, maybe. I'm a good writer. I'm a really good writer. I would probably say I'm an expert writer in the things in the fields that I do.
Yeah.
But I have been able to write a couple songs. Like musically, I'm pretty good. I'm passable at a couple things, but I'm just not like an expert. But like I do stuff, and I do good stuff, and I like it. And I help with good stuff. I think if I'm working with experts, I can contribute quite a bit. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Does that make sense? I don't know. I don't know if it makes sense.
Write in to a comment and see if that made sense.
Say that made sense or no?
But I don't think that makes you an expert. So.
No, I'm not saying I am an expert. I say I have a lot to contribute.
You keep claiming to be an expert in these things.
just writing. I would say just writing and just the martial arts.
Yeah. Well,
comedy.
We're professional comedians
I
now.
would say we're experts at making people chuckle, giggle, or laugh.
Yeah.
I think that is
Do you laugh when you listen to this? Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and subscribe.
Wow, what a shameless
Tell
plug.
everyone how much you like this podcast.
That's not where I was going with that. But I think there's an art to making someone laugh. And not saying like I'm a great stand-up comedian.
Is there an art to it?
What
is art?
What is laugh? I've learned how to make people laugh. In everyday conversation, I'm pretty good at it.
Do you think anybody can learn to be funny, or is it you got it or you don't?
Have we had this conversation before?
We might have had this on the pod.
I don't know if we have. I've talked about this multiple times. It's like you said. Could you be good at it? Could you actually get to where you can make people laugh and be funny? Yes. But I do think there's a quality of comedy that you're either born with or you're not. Well, maybe not born with, but like you develop it very early on, and you can't.
Mostly
can't really
out of it's a defense mechanism.
I was a very chubby child. I was a very fat child, and I had to be quick with my words to get back at he who shall remain nameless. Tony. I harbor no ill will towards Tony, but I think that honestly is like that was maybe part of it.
I think that's probably it for a lot of. I think I've heard a lot of comedians talk about that. About it's basically a way.
I
to
don't have
socially
some
relate.
dark past. I've put that away.
Okay. Hey.
No. I do think there's a quality that like early on you develop it. It's one of those things that's like very early on is developed, and then you just. After a certain point, I don't think it I don't think you can learn it.
I think people listen to this podcast to hear our take on this kind of thing.
I think this is an interesting thing.
Take,
what do you think? Do you think you can learn to be funny?
I think you can. I think you can work at it. I think there is an innate kind of instinct for timing and comedy, but I think it can definitely be developed in kind of like improv style. Working on it.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm decently funny, but I don't think I was always
right.
I don't know. I don't think I was always kind of making people laugh.
Yeah,
kind of developed a late bloomer.
Yeah.
I did a lot of writing and did a lot of sketches.
I think that's where that's where I've found that it's really tough to teach funny. And the closest way I've come to doing that is by telling people, go watch a comedy special or go watch something that you believe is funny and then figure out why it's funny.
But then I think that gets into like...
And then they get in their own heads.
It's like you're trying to analyze why something's funny. It's like, you're I don't know. I don't know. I think it's just kind of like, it's not the point. Just laugh.
I
Have a
get
good time.
I think so, but if you're trying to be funny, that's where I think, in writing.
I think we have talked about this before.
In writing, no, I think in writing, the trouble a lot of people get into is they have not funny people trying to write funny things, and it doesn't work. Like you got to develop it. It's
Just
something
be funny.
Just
be funnier, man.
I can't tell you how many times I've been handed a mic and told, can you go run up there and like be funny for like just like 5 minutes?
You can't tell me how many times this has happened. This has happened more times than you can tell me how many it's happened.
Yes.
To be in a room full of people,
Yes.
someone says, go up there and be funny. At the last moment, someone comes up to you and says,
it's in the tins.
This is dying.
It's in
Get
the
out
tins.
there and make them laugh.
No, it's like we've got time to kill and people are getting restless. Can you jump up
What
on stage?
setting?
And it's always a church setting. Everything I do is in a church setting. And
Not in a comedy club.
no, it's not just like I'm at the Laugh Hut and people are getting restless. Cameron, jump up there.
Laugh Hut.
I have a unique gift for biblically based humor, and I don't know why. It's just very like I can pick out little things and just throw it in there, and in a church it kills. It kills.
Oh man,
But you never.
boy does it.
Yeah, you can't talk about an ephod in the I don't
Laugh
know,
Hut.
Laugh Hut. I was
The
trying to think of
ephod
another.
jokes would fall flat.
They probably would.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about this?
This is our podcast. We can talk about whatever we want
That's
to.
a really good point. But in summation, just go be funny. Just laugh.
You're just listening to this podcast and let us try to be funny.
Don't try to be funny.
Let us try to be funny for you.
Yeah, let us try really hard at humor so that you don't have to. What is today's? Have we talked about it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, expertise.
Expertise we wish we had. This was your contribution.
It was my
So
buche.
maybe you should go first and hit me with your first expertise that you wish you had.
My first tease. Sushi chefery. Do you know how expensive it is to make to order sushi and eat sushi?
This is on my list.
Is it really?
Sushi mastery is on my list.
It is. I love sushi, but
It's my number 4.
It's your number 4? Well,
Sushi
now it's your
master.
number 5. I can't. I love sushi.
Sushi's the best.
It is so good, but it's not practical to eat.
No, how
Maybe
you
if
gonna,
I was a billionaire, maybe if I was 100 millionaire,
You mean it's not practical to go out to eat sushi all the time?
that too. Like, because having a
Or it's
kid.
not practical to make sushi.
Well, if I knew how to make it, if I was an expert at making it, yeah, maybe I would make sushi.
Did you ever watch the
Hiro Dreams of
Hiro
Sushi?
Dreams of Sushi?
No.
I did. I watched that
I've heard it's
documentary, and I got mad respect for my boy Jiro. He's all up in there in his 70s, just pressing that sushi.
What are you doing there?
This is rice. He's pressing, I think.
Oh.
Oh, no, it's like this. He presses that into the little sushi thing, and then he puts a little fish on top of it.
I just don't understand it.
But it made me wonder, if I go there, if I fly to Japan,
Would it be worth it?
and I have this sushi, is it going to be that much different than Fuji's at 71st and Memorial? How much
I'm
of a
betting-
mind-blowing difference is it?
I'm betting. So I think
How
I
much
have more of the.
difference is that rice, the sticky rice?
Well,
you
here's
know
where
what I mean?
here's what I think. I think I have a very trailer trash taste palette when it comes to sushi because I'm like, doesn't get any better than Fuji sushi on 71st and Memorial, and I know it does, and I know that's not very good,
Well,
but it's cheap and you can get a lot of it.
Yeah, your barometer for good was quantity.
Yeah.
How much
sushi?
How
can
much
I
sushi can you give me?
give me 4 rolls to start with.
40 sushis.
40 sushis, 40 sushi pieces, and
Because this restaurant, Fuji's, they used to have, this is mind blowing, and they stopped doing it because obviously they were losing gobs of money.
yeah, they closed.
They
down.
had all you can eat sushi lunch for $10.
It was like 13 or 14.
I remember it being 10 for some reason. Or maybe it was 12, but still, all you can eat?
Those tables were so sticky. Every table they had, you were just like, why am I sticking to everything? Every surface.
Hey, if you're ever in Tulsa, get the Big Willie roll at Fuji.
It's so good.
This is a major date spot for me and the
Yeah.
wife.
I think the first roll that I had that like made me think maybe I do like sushi, it was at Osaka.
Ooh,
The lava roll.
They're making the food in front of you.
And I was in there, and somebody was like, "You want to like share?" I think it was Lorinda was like, "You want to share a sushi roll?" And I was like, I don't really eat sushi, but yes.
Sushi's gross. It's raw fish. Ugh.
Yucky. Icky, bro.
Sick.
And they was like, it's a volcano roll. It'll be fine. Like, everyone loves a volcano roll. And you know what? They were right.
Isn't that the one that's kind of like a funnel cake? It's
No.
like deep fried?
No, it's pretty sushi-like.
Oh.
But it's just the perfect sauces. Get that spicy mayo.
You're a real sauce man.
I'm a real sauce man.
You're a real sauce man.
Yeah.
Anytime I've gone with you to maybe Cane's.
Chick-fil-A or Cane's?
Chick-fil-A or Cane's, you get a absurd amount of sauce.
Yeah.
It is an amount of sauce that no normal human should be able to eat this much sauce.
Let me tell you, whenever I go to Chick-fil-A and I'm like eating by myself, I'll order 5 sauces. I'll order 5 Chick-fil-A sauces for my one meal.
5 Chick-fil-A sauces?
It's the whole reason I go to Chick-fil-A.
For the sauce.
I think Chick-fil-A has a little something going for them. They have a good fry chicken. They have good fries, good chicken, and a good sauce. Whereas like Cane's, chicken's not that great, but their sauce is amazing and their fries are amazing. Zaxby's, and it's like good chicken, not great sauce. Fries are okay.
I like Zaxby's wings with the wings sauce.
Okay. But Chick-fil-A, I think, is they're good on all 3 fronts. They've got good chicken, good sauce, and good fries, and I think that's a great. That's why I like them.
My Chick-fil-A sauce combo is I love to have an array of sauces. I like to have an array of sauces, and I like to have a ranch, a buffalo,
yeah, you do,
and a Chick-fil-A sauce.
Here's what I do. Them together, don't you?
No, sometimes.
Oh.
I'll take a fry. I'll go ranch, buffalo. I'll take another fry. I'll go ranch, Chick-fil-A. And I alternate because every new fry is a new flavor. So my palate never...
Like a flavor explosion.
It's like a flavor explosion, and my palate never gets used to the flavor. It's like a fresh new take. I just switch it up.
How do you know when you're done?
What do you mean? There's no fries
Sometimes
left.
I get like sick of eating, and I'm like, I'm done.
You don't eat it all?
I eat it all.
You ate too much sauce.
Yeah,
that's why you're
probably.
eating 5 Chick-fil-A sauces.
I do get an extra medium fry, if I'm being honest.
2 fries?
No, just a large fry and a medium fry.
Oh my gosh. I think French fries are my favorite food.
Sometimes you got to eat them first.
Oh.
You fries first?
Fries first, always.
They will
you
get
gotta
soggy.
have hot fries.
You
Gotta have hot fries.
Chicken, whatever.
I'll eat the
Burger?
entire fries
Whatever.
first, and then move on to the main course.
But we're talking about sushi.
Were we?
Sushi
chef.
Sushi.
That'd be a great expertise to have.
Sushi mastery is one of those things that I think you'd be the talk of the town. You invite friends over, you pull out your little sushi mat, and you're shing shing ching ching ching, and you're like just flying. You're I don't actually
making
know,
that sticky rice. And you're
How'd you do it?
you maybe just take an apprenticeship with Euro over in Japan or wherever he's at.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Are we talking about how to get the expertise?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You got to
then,
apprentice.
You got to go somewhere.
You got to pay your dues.
I thought it was just overnight. We were experts.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah. Okay.
Okay, that was mine. First
Well,
one.
Mine
number
is
5, and your number 4.
It's sushi adjacent. I'd say
Your number 4 was sushi.
sword/knife making.
Ooh.
Is that on your list?
It would. I made one once. I helped make a sword.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It was
I
awesome.
just think it's like super cool to
was
make
so
knives,
fun.
man. From like forge them from scratch.
Yeah.
Take like a bar of steel and shape it and pound it and grind it into a blade that you can defend yourself
The one
with.
that I helped make was a truck spring.
Yeah.
It was a truck spring, and it was super cool. And
I was there.
You were there. You were there the whole time.
Backstory: we made a video for the kids ministry he works for.
Yeah.
Where we went and interviewed a blacksmith and made a video of him making a sword.
Yeah. And
It
I
was
got to help, which, it takes like 2 weeks to make a legit sword. It took like 2 weeks, and I was there for like 30 minutes twice. So that was my I got to
just for the shots.
I got to bang the steel. I got to hit the metal, like the red, when it gets hot and you just forming it. Oh,
Yeah.
I felt like such a strong man.
I think it's more. I think more on the knife side when you're like sharpening at the end and you like crafting the handle.
You want
like
a leather strip that you're consistently you're sharpening that knife.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if maybe I don't want to do like the blacksmithing of pounding.
You just
but
want to sharpen knives? You
maybe
want to be an
I just wanna-
expert
maybe I
at
just-
sharpening
maybe I
knives?
just want to sharpen knives. You like see him and he's like sharpening it.
So you want to get into
cool.
woodworking. You just want to have a nice set of knives that you're just always sharpening.
Yeah, I would say similar to this would be like Japanese furniture craftsmanship. Where they're like scraping away these woods and they're like forming them into tables without any nails.
There's not a single nail.
They're just dovetailing these things together, and they're just
That's a
craftsmanship.
Great term that you just used.
That's a real term.
I know, it's a wonderful term.
It's a real woodworking thing.
It's true.
That is one hobby I've not yet got into is woodworking.
Yeah.
But, it's in my future.
Lucky
you better
you.
believe it's in my future.
I'm telling you, you convinced me to get into wood carving and then never got into wood carving.
I was like, hey, we should get into whittling together.
And I was like, it was fresh pandemic, 2020 hit. We were locked in at home and I was like, I'll buy my knives now. I'm looking for something to do. He didn't buy any knives.
And I was like,
he didn't do any, yeah, you know what?
Sounds like a little much.
What it was he sent me one video and it hooked me. It was this jolly man that made spoons, just made wooden spoons. And he was like having the time of his life. And it was, I wish we could, maybe we can link to that somewhere.
Find that
but
video.
it was the best thing.
Yeah, so you got into wood carving.
Carved a few gnomes.
Carved some gnomes.
And got out of the game. Carved
Yep.
a couple of Christmas things. There's a guy I followed. His name is Doug Linker, and he's just
Gnome carver?
he carves a little bit of everything. He's a wood carver. He does a lot of that stuff, he's really good. And he to me feels more like a Bob Ross of wood carving is what it felt like. Just a nice, older man that's just having the time of his life carving tiny woodland creatures.
Trying to get Logan into Bob Ross.
Oh,
We watched an app the other day.
yeah. Hey.
His mind was blown that he painted that scene in just 20 minutes.
In just 20 short minutes. Did he get the squirrel out? Bob Ross yet in that episode?
No, it was just one episode.
Do you remember that he had like a tiny squirrel that he rescued and like raised it?
I think I remember something
On the
about
show.
the squirrel. Yeah.
It's great. I think that's wonderful. But I would, yeah. You just want to sharpen knives.
Maybe.
But I think the woodworking side of things would be great.
Build some furniture.
I don't know. I kind of just like carving. It's like an art thing for me. Like I like.
You should get the spinning thing, and you could do the spinning thing, and you carve the legs of the chair.
Give me time, Roman.
All right.
It's an expertise. All right. How am I supposed to be an expert overnight? Anyway, my number 4.
Yep.
Let me just switch these.
Okay.
Because I do think this would be my number 4. I switched the order. I'm sorry, guys, but wood turning was
Wood
while
turning.
we're still on the subject.
Okay.
Wood turning, those things like to me.
Do you ever get in YouTube rabbit holes of
Of
watching
course.
wood turning videos?
Typically, it's because you send me one.
I got into a real funk of watching wood turning videos.
They're incredible to watch, and I'm like, oh, this looks so cool.
It is
looks
kind of
so
relaxing,
fun. It's
you know?
relaxing, but like seeing what they're actually doing, like they have like these. When they're in a wood, they got like the whatever it is, the blade,
the chisel.
Thank you. And then there's like a bracing bar that they have to like that's like scraping off big chunks
it looks
of
pretty
it.
intense.
And I'm like, I actually don't know if that would be relaxing to do. But it's the same thing with like when I'm like wood carving, which again I'm not very good at, but I've carved a couple things. It's so much work on your hands. Like it hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts the hands.
The videos that I kind of rabbit holed at one point was they would take like a stump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
they would
they
like put this stump in like a cylinder, and they would pour resin in the stump.
Resin videos.
Pour
Those
the
get
resin
me.
in the
Those
stump.
Get me.
Fill it up, let it cure overnight or however long. I don't know how long resin cures.
Not sure
and then
how
they
resin
would take
works.
that big chunk of resin and wood, put it in the turner, and then start going to town. And they would carve that giant stump into like a mug.
Yeah.
So they end up with this tiny, this
I like
cool
when they,
looking mug.
I like when they take like a bunch of like small wood chips and like a bunch of small things, put that in a bowl, then put resin in it, and then they make like a bowl out of those wood chips. Like those ones get me.
I don't know if I ever saw those.
Or like they've done that. One I watched was like they did a bunch of colored pencils and then put resin on them, and then they made like a bowl out of the colored pencils and looked so cool once they.
Yeah, but like, does anyone really want these things? Does anyone want that in their house?
Well, this is part of it. Like, if
little-
I had that expertise, I think you could make quite a bit of money off it because I doubt there's not a ton of people doing this.
There's not a lot of color.
I'm not in these
bowls.
expertise for the money. All right, But it would be nice to have an expertise that actually pays.
You're not getting paid for board game nights.
I wish I did.
Hosting board game
Boy,
nights.
I wish I
Turn
did.
that into a side hustle.
I mean, I guess I could, but I don't really want to do
Cameron's board games extravaganza.
And that's just getting into a board game cafe, which there's plenty of them out there.
All right.
Not in Tulsa. There's only one, and it's great. It's wonderful. But that was my number 3. Then turned number 4 because we were kind of, while we're on the subject, I was the 3 and 4 were already switching, flopping, and then we were just talking about it already. So I went ahead.
So it's my turn for number 3.
Did I go first? No. Oh, it's my turn for number 3.
I suppose.
Because I still have 3 more.
Go for it.
Don't look. My number 3 is parkour expertise. I don't know why.
You want to be? Did you ever get into the parkour?
I got into like stupid parkour where you just fell all the time. And
like not real.
Not like I never. Well, here's the thing. I just think I could never do a backflip.
Never. Don't never say never, Cameron.
Never.
You still got a couple good years.
I'm only 31.
About athletically.
Okay, but still. You watch. I'm gonna do a flip. I can do.
I've heard that.
I have done a front flip on flat ground, but I've heard that's much harder, and I cannot bring myself to flip backwards.
You're afraid.
Yes,
you're afraid of.
You do. Have you seen how many people face plant doing backflips?
I have done backflips.
I'm aware,
yes,
and I've been jealous for all these years,
I didn't know
and I've been
jealous.
waiting for this podcast so I can really tell you off.
Oh my gosh.
Ugh.
I used to do backflips pretty frequently as a fun party trick.
And that's what I want. Run up a tree, do a backflip.
Yeah. I never did the run up a tree. I did remember the last time I did a backflip. It was like I hadn't done one in several years. And it's like, this was probably even like before I had kids. Like I haven't done a backflip in a long time.
Yeah.
Unless on like a trampoline or something. But like, I'm always doing backflips on trampolines.
You're always doing
if I see a trampoline, I'm gonna
flip. I'm gonna flip.
But like,
that's why I am with front flips. I have to do one on
I was
trampoline.
like, it was several years ago, whatever, 5-7 years ago, and I'm like, I still do this.
Yeah.
I did one, and I did it, just kind of barely got it, but then my leg joints
hurt so bad.
Hurt so bad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why?
That's why
it was like the act of flinging them around. Like,
you used every muscle, and I was like,
yeah, I was like it was like I had a weird pain that I would never have had since or before.
You pulled multiple muscles,
Maybe,
probably. That's probably what happened.
Because I've not used my body to force it.
That's why. That so one thing that I can do, and I try to keep up with because it's a great party trick, is the one-handed cartwheel. I can still do that, and I love doing one-handed cartwheels. Because it's impressive to watch a big guy do a one-handed cartwell. It just is.
Okay, hey, write a comment if you want to see Cameron do a one-handed cartwheel. We should do an Insta-Scloose where you do a one-handed cartwheel.
That sounds great. Maybe not today. I have kind of injured my leg recently. But I try to do them fairly frequently because I did go on like a years-long hiatus where I didn't do one. And I mentioned that I could do one. Someone goes, I want to see it. And I played it cool. But it hurt so bad. I did it, and it wasn't like I just barely made. I can do a one-handed cartwheel really well. It just didn't. Like it hurt so bad after the fact, and I'm like, I should probably not.
I'm pretty good at cartwheels too.
Yeah, that's that one-handed though. You gotta have that one-handed. I actually don't think I can do two-handed cartwheels very well.
I can do two-handed cartwheels amazingly. I can do a slow.
Why are you one-upping me?
I can do a slow like I'm a wheel. Like I can just. Like roll in a circle like I'm a wagon wheel.
Just keep it going.
Like I'm a cartwheel.
Do you think that's what they do you think that's what they named it that? Like I'm a wagon wheel.
Let me go do a wagon wheel.
I can do cartwheels as if I'm an actual wagon wheel.
All right, we got to do an Insta-Scloose where we do cartwheels.
Yeah, we're going to have to.
You got to follow us on Instagram at Roman and Cameron if you don't already.
Yeah. To be clear, that's
dedicated gram.
At Roman and Cameron, one word. That's the account.
Correct.
Not at Cameron and at Roman. That will get you nowhere with us.
Nope. I don't have that handle. Somebody does.
Somebody does.
Probably the company for hair loss and erectile dysfunction called Roman.
Is that a thing?
It is.
I'm so sorry. What's
I
your
don't know how many people have texted me since that company came out.
Sorry. That's really sad to hear.
Hey, you gotta snug up on that mic.
I sat back because it's your turn for number 3, pal.
Man, the audience is gonna be like, man, Cameron doesn't know how to use a microphone. Build a house with my own 2 hands.
Oh, like Grandpa has.
I want to build a house with my own 2 hands and do every step of it. I think that's a rite of passage that every man should have to do at some point in their life. Build a dwelling.
That feels extreme.
No, it's not.
I think maybe a rite of passage is to build some sort of shelter, but a full house, Roman?
Build a dwelling.
Have you, again, YouTube hole, have you gotten into like the people that like dig out the ground and just build like houses like out of?
Yes, my son, 6-year-old son, Logan.
Heard of him.
He loves to watch bushcraft videos.
Bushcraft. Honorable mention. One of my expertise was bushcrafting.
Really?
Because Doug Linker, the guy that I follow that's a wood carver, he also does that. And it's just so interesting.
Yeah, here's a pro tip.
You never know when you're going to need that skill.
Pro tip for all you parents out there. If you find your kids are watching annoying TV shows all the time, like Paw Patrol or like, I don't know, what's another annoying TV show?
It's just, man, I don't
SpongeBob.
know. SpongeBob.
Something that you just like are sick of hearing.
I couldn't think of any shows.
Try to get your kid into bushcraft videos. Do you know why?
Because then they'll walk outside and try to do it themselves.
That, but also nobody talks. They don't talk in these videos.
They don't.
They just go out and like build a shelter with the open air.
They're not the type of people that talk.
They just they're chopping, they're building, they're starting fires, they're cooking food, and it's like 20 minutes.
That's
just them building a shelter.
That's actually
He loves it. He loves it. And my daughter, my 3-year-old daughter, also loves it. It's so interesting. So do that. If you're tired of listening to Paw Patrol, put on a little bushcraft.
Well, that's
on
actually
YouTube.
one of the reasons I like Doug Linker.
This is your third plug for this Doug guy.
Check him out, guys. He's awesome. He is so awesome. And like,
hey,
but he does talk.
Should we get him on the podcast?
If he would be willing. I think he lives in Canada though, so it's a pretty long
Doug, maybe we
drive.
can phone you in.
His videos are great, but he'll just share his thoughts, and it's just great.
Well, I don't let my
nice.
kids watch anything where someone's talking directly to them.
Obviously,
I don't know what they're gonna say.
Obviously, that's a good point.
So it's got to be no talking.
Well,
just them out there.
From what I've seen, old Dougie, which is what he calls himself
Dougie Fresh.
sometimes. And that's when I was like, this guy's my people, because I call myself Cammy Jammy all the time, and he calls himself Dougie. And so he's just, I've never heard him say a negative word.
Nary a word.
Well, he says words, but he's not
Nary
negative.
a negative word.
Exactly.
All right. Well, that's your official recommendation, Doug Linker on YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah.
And anywhere else that he can be found?
I think it's just YouTube. I don't actually see anything else of his. But
Okay.
it's great. It's fun stuff.
My number 2. Oh wait, is it your turn?
No, I have not.
Build a house from scratch.
It's my number 2, isn't
Yeah.
it? You built your house from scratch.
Yeah, I think it would just be a great skill to have to be able to just build a house.
Yeah.
Especially in a pinch. You know what I mean?
I really need a house.
You're in a
now.
pinch. You got to build a house, put yourself a foundation, get the walls up. Yeah, probably we could like kind of rough it.
Yeah.
If I needed to.
Yeah.
But like to do it right, I wouldn't know how to do a lot of stuff.
I understand.
Yeah.
I get it.
But I could probably throw some walls up.
I think anyone could throw some walls up, but when the tornado comes, what's going to happen?
That's true. You want to screw in those walls.
Yeah. You really have not that. You don't have that expertise. You have not that expertise is what I was
The walls are
saying.
screwed in, right?
They're just screwed in right there. You dovetailed them together, so they're never going to move anywhere. My number 2, safe cracking. Not that I want to do it.
Oh, yeah.
But imagine
crack.
being able to break into any safe you want and showing enough restraint to not. You're a hero.
You'd be constantly trying to get into asking your friends, hey, where do you keep your safe?
Trying to steal their rubies, the president's rubies. Andy Dwyer. Where are the president's rubies?
Yeah, safe cracking. Yeah, that's an interesting skill.
It just seems like, our brother-in-law Joel, he's not a blacksmith, a locksmith. And so he's done like locksmith stuff.
He's a locksmith?
Oh, you didn't know this?
No. What? He's a locksmith?
Yeah. I mean, he worked at a locksmith shop, and he has his own lock picks and everything. But I'm not even talking about that.
You're talking about putting the
he's broken
stethoscope?
into. Yes, I'm talking about that side of things.
Hearing it.
Joel has broken into his own house with like hair clips and things like that, and a knife, like a butterfly knife and stuff. And it's just like, that's impressive to me. But a safe?
Yeah.
That's a different story.
So when I bought my house, my recent house that I live in now, I got, everything was handled by the realtors. I didn't actually talk to the owner. And that's how they do it these days.
Naturally.
The realtors just all talk to each other and just show up. And
just tell me how much to pay.
Tell me where do I sign? And I get there and they have this, the previous owners prepared this packet, and it was like, there's keys and all the different things that you would need in the house and the records and things. And then there was a piece of paper that said, combination to the safe. It was this, but they didn't say where the safe was.
Where was it?
And so I'm like, oh, there's a safe. That's cool. And it was nowhere to be found. Like for months, we looked all over for this safe, and we could not find this safe.
What a great joke.
I know. I'm like, what an amazing joke to play on the next owners of a house. Give them the combination to a safe that doesn't exist.
Combination to get into the secret room.
Exactly.
To get into your secret room.
Like, what if they left something for me?
Yeah.
But I ended up finally finding the safe. They had it hidden.
Where was it hidden?
I'm not gonna say on the
it's
internet.
Like built in?
It's somewhere in the house.
Is it like built in though?
Kind of. Yeah.
I'm your brother. These people are our fans.
I should give them the exact coordinates to our safe.
What you keep in it? How much?
Yeah. So we ended up finding it and opening it, and it was like, all right, cool. We have a safe.
There was nothing in it though. Not even like a note.
I think there was some
you found it.
I think there was some things to keep things dry. Those little like packets, like silica or something.
Yeah.
That's all that was in there.
Yeah.
No, there was no rubies, unfortunately. Apparently they took their rubies with them.
Oh, I would love to just send someone on a treasure hunt that actually exists. You
wouldn't want to ghost on a treasure?
No, I just love to send. I'd love to sit back and be like, I hope they find it, and then one day when they find it, they'll be like, hey. Thanks.
If this podcast grows big enough, we can do a treasure hunt.
I would love to do that one day. Just be like, we've created these riddles, and
of course you would.
Real life places, a real national treasure type thing where you find one place, you get to the other place, and then it's like the final location, they get the treasure. First one there actually gets it. Can you imagine
pretty awesome.
Putting on something like that?
That'd be sweet.
They get like a golden chalice filled with something. I don't know. More gems.
Gemstones.
Or I guess to go on that hunt as well would be pretty fun.
I'd love to send somebody on a treasure hunt.
But real talk, I am related through marriage to most people probably haven't heard of this guy, but Pretty Boy Floyd. He is a famous Oklahoma outlaw.
Oh yeah.
And he was a great bank robber. All right. He would tell the police.
Meaning he was great at stealing.
Safe cracking.
And safe cracking.
He would tell the police where he was going to rob a bank, when he was going to rob a bank, and they still wouldn't catch him.
That was his calling card.
It went down in the history books that he was killed in like a gunfight. But what actually happened, per our family history, was he made a deal with the police that he would stop robbing banks if they would just let him go and like not try to catch him.
So he just rode off into the sunset.
With all of his treasure. It's somewhere. It exists.
So nobody's found. What's his name?
No. Pretty Boy Floyd's treasure is out there somewhere. And he wrote tons of letters.
Do we have any family heirlooms that have clues?
He wrote letters to my wife's dad's dad. So my father-in-law's dad. These letters exist somewhere.
What?
And I'm like, put them over heat. Put them over heat. See where the coordinates are.
Rub them with the chemical that reveals.
Read between the lines. Figure out look for, hash marks that are in certain letters. Go to the fourth letter of every word.
We got to find Pretty Boy Floyd's treasure. This is our reality show. This is our reality
that's our
show.
We talked about in the last podcast about making a movie. That's our movie.
Roman and Cameron's quest for Pretty Boy Floyd's treasure.
Oh, is it Hunt or Quest? I like Quest.
Yeah, Quest sounds better.
Oh man, but
Wow.
that was. I mean, I don't know how I got there, but that's a family history thing for us.
That's pretty cool.
And so I technically at any point could just be like, all right, guys, I'm phoning it in. I'm going to find Pretty Boy Floyd's treasure. I think it's out
gotta
there
happen.
somewhere.
It would be an entertaining ride trying
Imagine-
to track
Can
down
you imagine?
that treasure,
Can
no matter
you
what.
Imagine having a reality show and we actually find treasure.
My next one is that I would love to be expert at is typing.
Oh yeah, that would be handy.
I'm notoriously bad at typing.
You're still the hunt and peck
This is
method?
me. These two fingies. This is when I'm typing. This is what I do. I probably throw like the thumb in for the spacebar, maybe.
Yeah.
But this is it. Imagine if I could just do this. That's so much better.
Oh, you can type at the speed of thought if you do that.
Oh my gosh, it'd be amazing. Every year I make a resolution.
Yeah.
This is going
No.
to be the year that I learn to type. Touch type, that is.
Yeah. Not hunt and
Every
peck.
year I get about 3 lessons into whatever free software I'm trying to use,
Mavis Beacon.
and I throw in the towel.
I understand.
I tried. Mavis Beacon failed me.
Yeah. Me too.
Mavis, you failed me, Mavis.
I don't know.
If you're a real person, you failed me. I took your class for 4 years or whatever. Maybe it was just 1.
You could argue that maybe the computer teacher failed us
I just looked at the hands.
because it worked for a lot of people.
There was hands that showed you where to type, and I just looked at the hands and did what they did, but that didn't stick.
But the crazy thing is, like, I'm the hunt and peck method where I will use like 2 fingers, like maybe both of my middle fingers is what I use, or maybe both of my pointer fingers. But I don't use 2. Maybe I do. I don't know exactly. But
You're an expert writer.
But
you
I
should
know-
be able to touch type.
But I know where all the keys are. I can actually, like, as I'm like moving my hands around, I can do that without looking at the keyboard. But I will look at the keyboard because it's just easier than being like looking at the screen, being like.
So if you're an expert writer, let's invest this year and learn how to type.
That's too late for me. I think I
The
did have.
neural pathways are solidified.
I did have a friend that he told me, like, it takes you twice as long to write something.
It takes you twice
It takes
as long?
me twice as long to write something as it does him because he can type as fast as he would normally like speak it, and I'm having to be like, Tahee. I'm having to like spell things out and like
Yeah, it's
find
a
it.
huge
and it
problem.
takes him like it always did. It took him about half the time to write stuff that it took me.
Yeah. It's a
My
huge
stuff
problem.
was so much better though.
Just invest a little time, learn how to touch type.
Yeah.
That's what I tell myself every year. Just
know.
invest a little time and learn. But then I end up writing most stuff on my phone now. Like I literally, most things I write, Evernote on my phone.
Yeah.
Like this.
I just talk to text. Talk it all. Talk the whole thing. Yeah, I type actually fun fact about shameless plug. My children's book, wrote the whole thing in a note. The Notes app.
Yeah.
That was just typed
It's
it.
very common,
I
commonplace
just
these
typed it out in
days.
the Notes app. And I was just like, this is weird. Like I didn't even use a computer. I didn't even use my typewriter.
What's your favorite app on your phone?
Let's see. It's not letting me open my phone. Man, I don't know. That's a good question.
You don't have a favorite app? Do you play games?
No, not really. I have games on there for the kid sometimes where he'll grab my phone and play Angry Birds. But no, I think
You don't play Doodle Jump?
I don't. That's not even a thing anymore. I don't think. I don't know. I think I don't know. I don't really have like a go-to. I'm not just like always on my phone. I don't like. I have social medias, but I don't like scroll unless like more recently I've been.
Cameron
trying to
just
grow
discovered
our-
Instagram Reels.
Didn't even-
Always sending me reels. I'm like,
man.
did you just find
I
out
didn't
about
even
this?
know the function. Like you swipe up, it goes to another video.
The TikTok-esque function where you get in a depressing hole of watching short video after short video.
But they're funny. But rarely do I do that. I don't care to.
You've been sending me so many videos lately.
I get sent
Rarely,
I get
Cameron?
sent a
Let's
lot
get
of
real.
stuff. That's not. I'm not saying that I don't sometimes get into the scroll hole, but
That's not where I want
but
to be.
I do.
I don't want to be in the scroll hole.
I do get sent a lot of videos. I'm in multiple group texts, and They're funny. Videos are funny, guys.
I love funny videos. I mean, we make funny videos.
That's what we do for a living. Maybe not me, but you.
Me, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like the Marco Polo app.
Should I get on this? Everyone's telling me about the Marco Polo app.
Here's what I like.
Should I get on there?
Here's what I like about it. Okay,
Would we be friends if I was on there?
I don't know. We'd probably use it. You send me.
I was literally talking
to
my wife about maybe we should get on Marco Polo with some of our friends.
It's fun.
Is it video messages?
It's video. You're sending a short video message. Some people send long ones, and those are the worst people to be friends with. You're looking at him. This guy with 2 thumbs. No, but it's nice. I reconnected with my high school best friend, and
J-Mo?
J-Mo. J-Mo. Yeah, man. We
talked about him on the pod before.
Yeah, we talk all the time on Marco Polo, and like so much so that it was just a month ago, maybe it was last month probably. We did like a Zoom call, and we were like, "This is weird. Like, this is the first time we've had like a I talk, you talk conversation, and it's not just like I video something and then like an hour later I get a video back or like things like that." But we didn't skip a beat. It felt like we'd been like it felt.
So
normal.
Did the Zoom call feel awkward and weird to you? Or you just said this is.
At first, it was like, "Whoa, this is crazy! Like this is the first time we've actually like talked back and forth, like in real time." Because we have real conversations. It's just
delayed by an hour.
It's
send a video, get a response.
Yeah, because I think there's a lot that you miss in text. I think there's a lot that you miss in even just voice memos.
It's harkening back to the era of writing letters, being pen pals.
You get, well, even more than that, you get people's facial expressions. You can see when they're downtrodden. You can see when they're excited. You can see when they make a funny face.
Maybe I should do it.
I'm telling you, I think you'd really like it. I
usually just film videos and text them to people. That's probably.
But if you're on Marco Polo, it's just super simple. Boop.
When you're on Marco Polo, they get all your videos.
I will say it's a one-try thing, though.
Oh,
you start it, it's sending. Like sending as you're doing it.
You can't do multiple takes.
You accidentally Marco Polo something while you're pooping. You're just there.
Do we have to talk about that on this podcast, Cameron?
Marco Polo or pooping?
No. Yes. We're above this.
Okay? So it's the way it is. I've accidentally done it before, where luckily it was my good pal J Mo. But you're sitting there, you're watching the Marco Polos, and then all of a sudden once you finish the Marco Polos, it's on a screen that's facing you, and I was just like, I had tapped, and I was like, whoa.
Oh no!
It was fine. Nothing seen
or heard.
That's not what it sounds like.
Let's hope not.
But I think the Marco Polo app is probably my favorite for the reason that like it actually has reconnected me with a good friend. That is yeah.
Maybe I'll check it out.
Fun team. Fun activity.
Are we to our number one?
Do you have a favorite app? Sorry, but before we move on, do you have a favorite app?
Email.
Boring.
I just love email.
Oh.
Getting messages from Nordstrom, Rack, hearing from QuickBooks.
Just get a light phone and be done already.
Ever so often getting a message from a real person, about some sort of work item. Usually it's just spam, though.
We should just start sending
usually it's an email list.
We should start sending our mail, some real mail to each other people.
Should we send snail mail to our fans?
I had someone that did that one. I don't remember who. I went to school with them, but they sent a letter and it just said, "What's up?" It was like a postage, like they had to get postage, and they sent a letter.
You spent 38 cents to tell me what's up.
Hey man, what's up? Well, that's what we used to do with text messages. Like you sent. It was cost per text.
Wow, yeah, we've come a long way.
We have come a long way. Unlimited text. That's not even like a selling point anymore.
Man, texting used to be so clunky. Remember when you had to click out each letter?
Click.
And you just got used to clicking out the
letters.
And then when you pass really fast.
And then when you pass the letter. You just have to click all the way back through.
Oh, gosh. These teens don't know what it used to be like.
I don't know. But I will say I loved my Kia Sarah Phantom.
Yeah, I had like a Nokia
I think
brick.
Yeah, that's true. You could toss that thing and it would be fine.
Play some Snake. It would just shatter on the floor into 4 pieces and then you pick it up,
put it all back together. It's easy.
Those are good times.
Yeah, it's great.
Remember the Razor phone when it really hit the scene and made some waves?
I just remember. Yeah, I do.
The Razor was the coolest.
I had friends, and I at one point was good enough to where you just put your hands in your pockets, like at school. You could, because of how the texting was, you had the full number pad. It was easy to text without looking.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Minimal typos. Like you could get pretty good at it. Like if you knew what you were
remember
doing.
that.
And so like you keep your hand in your pocket. Be listening to the teacher. Sorry, teachers out there. You can't really do that anymore.
When when people are out there dating, I haven't been in the dating scene in a while, and I was in high school when I did date.
Yeah.
We used to have nightly phone calls.
Oh man.
And just sit
hours.
I'm talking 2 hours. Just sit there and talk. And what did we talk about for that long? There was times where I was just listening while she talked, half falling asleep. I'm literally, but I always liked doing these phone calls, but it was so excessive.
Just to know that someone was on the other end of that line.
Just breathing on the other end of the phone, laying down in bed, talking to your significant other. Your sig of
curled up like a little cat on the end of the bed.
Just talking
on
about
top of the blankets.
What are you talking about in high school? Your life is not that complex.
What happened in that next class?
Yeah,
she did not.
You go to class, you go home, you do your sports, and that's it. What else do you have to talk about?
But props to people that did that. Us being two of them.
Yeah, nowadays
it's
just texting. Everyone's just texting each other. The texting is too much. Stop with the texting. You can't get to know somebody by texting them constantly.
It's true. Get Marco Polo.
You can't read the tone. Get the facial expressions. Talk to them over the phone. Bring that back.
Come on. Bring face-to-face interaction back.
And we probably were just talking on the phone because we didn't have our own cars, so we couldn't be together in person.
That's fair.
Had to talk on the phone.
That's fair.
Wow.
Rabbit trail, but it was worth it.
Well,
we really got some ground covered there.
Was your number one? You want to go with your number one?
Is it my turn to do number one?
It is.
It's my turn to do number one. The cello.
The cello. I actually almost put cello on my list.
Oh, the regalest of instruments.
You know that one cello song that everyone knows? That's like you don't know what it's called, but everyone knows it.
I'm a huge fan, and I mean this, of Yo-Yo Ma.
You big Yo-Yo Ma fan?
Speaking of yo-yos,
you Yo-Yo Ma file?
I'm a yo-yo file. I love Yo-Yo Ma. Like he seems like a genuinely happy-go-lucky fella that was a child prodigy.
Was he a child prodigy? Yes. You know all the facts about Yo-Yo?
I got into a YouTube hole once, but he's just so good. Him and Mo Willems did a few things together, and that's when I started, like, I listened to Yo-Yo Ma before.
Am I supposed to know who Mo Willems is?
Roman? No, probably not, because why would you? So he's a very popular children's book writer who wrote Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus, if you're familiar with that book.
No,
Elephant and Piggy. It's like a 30-book series.
Never heard of it.
He wrote a lot of different
My
things.
children's book author knowledge pretty much consists of Dr. Seuss.
So he's the modern day Dr. Seuss is what people call him, and he hates it because he's a creative and he wants to be this age's Mo Willems.
Mo Willems is not as near as a interesting name as Dr. Seuss.
But he's an interesting fella. Like, he is a really interesting fella.
Why isn't your name Williams?
I wish he was. I do wish he was okay with being this age's a modern day Dr. Seuss. I'm like, that's high praise. Like, be this age's Mo Willems, whatever. But like, take the praise.
Take the W, man.
Take the W. If people are actually like comparing you and saying you're on par with Dr. Seuss, go with them. Do that. That's fine. And but no, he's just a super nice guy. But I guess they both have done stuff at the Kennedy Center, and they've done some stuff together where old Yo-Yo was playing.
Her name is Yo-Yo.
And Mo was doing art.
Is his name Yo-Yo? Is it Yo? Is his first name Yo? His middle name Yo? And his last name Ma?
So whenever those
two... Is his first name Yo-Yo
Whenever
Ma?
those two got together, it was Yo-Yo Mo is what they called it. And they were just having the time.
This is a serious question. Is his first name Yo-Yo and his last name Ma?
I believe so.
Man.
I believe so. But like,
other languages do weird things.
He played for the president when he was like 7 or something like that. And just... is just so good. He's so good.
Yeah, the cello is an amazing instrument that you can have a full song and it's be interesting and complex all on the one instrument.
But also to have that expertise and to not like play concerts and to not do that, but just have one, it doesn't seem as interesting. Like, when am I going to pull out my cello and just play for my friends that are over? Like, you guys need some music for that game that you're playing?
Yeah, I remember that song was the most impactful when I saw it on Steve Jobs' memorial video when he died. And they put it on the Apple website. You just went there, and then they played that song with black and white photos of Steve Jobs, and it was like, wow, good use of the cello.
Yeah. Yo-Yo, Yo-Yo Ma. Mm-hmm. We're on a sort of first name basis. He talks about that and why that's such an interesting and like the most used cello piece. And I don't remember what he talked about with it. I wish I had more to say on that, but it was really interesting when I watched it, and I've forgotten every little bit of it since then.
So go look it up.
But
until
to me,
you find it.
Here's what I love. I love a good cello mixed with, together with a piano. Ooh. I think it's one of the most beautiful combinations. I think cello with guitar is great. One of my favorite bands, Tall Heights, that's kind of their thing. They have one guy plays the cello, the other guy plays the guitar, and like that's how they started. Now they've gotten into more like electronic stuff, and it's not what it used to be, but it's still good. But like, it's just a beautiful combination to add a cello into any situation. Maybe not any situation, but musically, any other.
What's an inappropriate time for?
Why is this
cello?
guy in the bathroom?
Yeah,
sorry, I went to bathroom humor again. I don't know where that came from. I'm
that?
sorry.
What's with you today?
Oh my gosh,
We're above. We can do better than this.
It's been a long day. It's been a long day.
Man, I don't know. I think a cello as a birthday party entertainment probably wouldn't be very fun.
Yeah, even like a children's party, like it's just weird. If you didn't play concerts, I actually don't know when you would use it or like when.
That's
you would
the thing
that.
about learning the
Otherwise,
violin
you're
or
just
one of those
showing
uppity kind of instruments.
Whoa,
Putting your kids
whoa.
in.
What if Yo-Yo sees this? Calling him uppity?
Yeah, one of those like concert level instruments. You know, it's
the
not
piccolo.
It's not really.
The flute.
It's only applicable if you go into playing concerts.
Applicable.
If you learn the guitar, the
just
piano, you know, you can transfer that to playing contemporary music or into a kind of a career, I suppose. Maybe
nobody's really like playing a cello at a coffee shop, or like
maybe
at
they
like
are.
maybe they are.
Maybe they should.
You know what? That'd be a regal coffee shop.
All right, my number one is farming. I think having farming expertise would be. I think some point in my life, you know, I kind of have idealized the idea of being a farmer. I think to some extent,
you sure have.
I'm sure it's much harder than it. I'm sure it's not all hunky dory and fun times being a farmer.
When has that ever been a stereotype of farming? In farming, the stereotypes are you wake up at 4 a.m. to milk the cows and do all the backbreaking labor. Never has it been, you're not old McDonald.
But imagine how fulfilling, you know?
Oh, my goodness.
I want to raise my own corn. I want to raise my own meats. You know what I mean? Raise my own vegetables.
I understand.
It's very, what a skill to be able to be that self-sufficient. You don't have to rely on a supermarket.
Yeah.
You got chickens. I've had chickens before, and that's pretty awesome to have eggs and chickens until they all got eaten by raccoons.
The chickens or the eggs?
The chickens. Yeah, the raccoons they're a pretty serious predator of the chickens.
I just made a bunch of eggs for the raccoons.
Yeah,
that's really sad news.
But it did give me the itch to want to farm someday.
You had a mean chicken at one point, right? That was bullying your other chickens.
Yep.
I felt so bad for that.
So.
No, it was one chicken that didn't fit in with the other chickens.
Yeah, we definitely did. And
it was the fluffy chicken.
Yeah, I think it was a boy. We thought it was a girl, and it was a boy. It was a rooster. And it was getting picked on by the girls.
How'd you make that mistake?
It's hard to tell sometimes when they're little. You know?
That's a good point.
We named our chickens 90s girl names. Like we had a chicken named Bridget and one named, I think Brittany, like Brittany and Bridget, that kind of name. It was pretty funny.
Amber.
Stuff like that. Yeah. They all got eaten by raccoons.
Oh.
It was a bummer.
All in one day or like over time?
2 of them got eaten in one day. And
did they leave any behind, or was it just like
I think we got down to one, and then we gave the one away.
I'm saying, did they leave any pieces of the chicken behind, or did they just like take the whole chicken away? The raccoons.
They took the chicken, and later we found a stash of chicken bones where they buried the bones behind the shed. Licked them, picked clean.
Oh, man. It reminds me of the raccoon video where he steals the dog food. Where he like,
it's my favorite video on the internet.
So funny.
It will
where he
always
comes
be.
over and the dog kind of barks, but he's like, "Oh no!" But then he like walks over like sheepishly and then grabs.
He grabs the animal and runs away like a person. Yeah, I love that video.
Oh, it's such a good video.
It's the best.
It's so good. Of viral videos, I would say that's probably one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, but I think someday I will have land and a ranch and a farm and raise some animals.
Raise some chickens.
It's
cows.
in the cards. It's in the cards.
You want to milk a cow?
I mean, I think
Goat? You want to milk a goat?
sure.
Almond? You want to milk an almond?
No, I
Nobody
drink
does.
regular milk.
You do?
Yeah, I'm one of those
I
weirdos
thought-
who drink cow's milk.
Beef milk?
Beef milk.
I thought you were so against milk.
I'm back, man. I went through a phase.
Oh,
I went through the phase.
the wishity washity with all your health information.
You get into phases. You go vegan for a little bit, and then you realize you're sad and skinny.
You were very skinny when you went vegan,
And
but
then
you never.
wise up and eat some daggone beef.
I don't know if you ever like went fully vegan because you would randomly eat a burger or like chicken and it would destroy you.
I wasn't that committed. Yeah.
Oh my
It was
goodness.
ideologically, I was like all for it at the time. Looking back, what I know now, no, not a fan.
Never would.
Meat, give it to me.
Yeah.
But
Big fan of
farming,
chicken.
would love to farm my own meat.
That sounds great.
You know,
I'd rather hunt. I don't know. I don't think I have what it takes to kill a being.
yeah, I don't think you do.
I went quail hunting, and even that made me a little sad.
Yeah,
I like.
you did it just because everyone else was doing it, but you didn't.
I
Really
wanted to be
want
cool.
You
I wanted
really
to be
want to.
liked. No, I mean it's fun, but it's like hide and seek with like dire consequences. When you think about these little buddies were raised. These little buddies were raised to be put out in a field and hunted.
Yeah, this is not hunting. What you're describing and what
it's
we
hide
both
and
did
seek.
is not hunting.
It's hide and seek.
This
and you
is
kill
where
the other party.
they take like 150 birds and they put them in a big giant field, and then you go like they stock them there, and then you go through with dogs, and the dogs find them for you, and they wash them out and throw them up in the air. They fly up in the air and you shoot them. That's not hunting. That is going and shooting birds.
But to me, there's something weird, and I'm not against it. Like, hunt if you want. But to me, there's something odd about such a magnificent beast. I think I'll shoot it.
no, I like it.
I
want
to destroy it.
I'm all for it.
Why?
Because you gotta. Sometimes it's good to
Assert your dominance as a human race?
No, to appreciate the circle of life. You know, you eat food.
Of course I eat food.
Well,
Look at me.
Somebody had to go kill that food.
I understand
I
that.
think it's probably fulfilling to go find food, kill it, eat it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about
and
like
respect it.
But I'm
Respect
talking
the
about
beast.
like
Respect the beast that gave you sustenance.
I understand
You know,
that.
I'm there in the tree stand. I've got my bow pulled back, and the buck's walking by, and I say, "Thank you, beast, for providing me with sustenance."
Wow.
Let go. To the neck. Ugh. It dies, and I go and I ratchet it up, skin it, cut it, butcher it, put it on my back, walk 100 miles back to my camp, roast it over a fire.
You understand how
Just be-
heavy those
Just be
deer
thankful.
are?
Be
You
thankful for this
understand how
beast
heavy a buck is?
that's providing me with sustenance.
You're not putting it on your back and walking home 100 miles.
It'd be a couple trips.
But
It'd be
to
a
like,
few trips.
but like in at one point in time, I think I would agree that it was like, yeah, hunt, use every part of the beast, and like they used to, the Native Americans that would use every single part of a buffalo or a bison or a deer. We don't do. It's just like, you want meat? I don't really want deer meat. Like, I have no desire to eat deer meat.
You would if you were starving and there was nothing else and you were out on the Oregon Trail.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Deer meat would be delicious.
I think chicken's a very viable option. Like, I think, yeah, I'll eat chicken every
Would
day.
you slaughter a chicken?
Not personally, because it just seems unnecessary. There's so many other people to do that for me. Why do I have to
think you
slaughter
just got to
it?
appreciate the circle of life, you know?
But like a bear? Why we kill? I understand.
Oh, you mean like trophy type
I'm
hunting?
talking trophy hunting. A magnificent beast.
Yeah, if you're not
I think
eating
I'll
it,
go destroy this thing.
if you're not eating it, I'm
I
more in
sound like
favor
a
of
real
you know, a real tree hugger over here.
But I'm not. I'm just like, it seems odd. Like there's nothing in me that's like, I think I'd like to like.
I think
a deer head mounted on my wall.
I think if it's an endangered species, obviously, definitely don't hunt the thing.
Don't hunt lions. Don't hunt elephants.
if there's a you know a population control thing where you like we need these to be keep in check. Yeah,
Rats.
Go hunt them.
Go hunt a rat.
I mean, if you want to go hunt a mountain cat.
I get that.
This is
like
America.
Mountain lion, yeah, go for it.
Go
you do
kill
you.
the beast.
I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm
Kill
saying
the beast.
I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm saying I don't know why I would. I
Yeah.
don't think I would.
Yeah.
Like
I do think at some point I'll probably get into going hunting for food.
Wow.
It's down the road.
What's happening in the United States when that happens?
It's bad out there, guys. It's bad out there.
What turned to where you're now hunting for your own food?
Bitcoin has collapsed. Yep.
Oh goodness! I already talked about my honorable mentions.
You did?
I did. Remember, bushcrafting
well,
was one of my.
I'll run through mine.
Bushcraft. I don't know if bushcrafting is a thing.
I think it'd be great to be an Antiques Roadshow expert.
To be able to know exactly what things cost.
To be able to look at any sort of antique like these people do and say, that's worth $4,000. You know what you could do? You could just go to these different estate sales and you could just clean up. You could clean house.
If you were the expert.
How do these people know all these
You
little random
you
thing
can tell by
is?
this paint stroke that this was
painted during the Jurassic period.
Everything's the Jurassic period.
Gosh, I think that'd be cool. General survival skills. Cars, like to know how to fix them would be nice.
I almost wrote that on. I don't know why I didn't put it on my honorable mentions.
I wish I would have learned how to fix cars.
I had several opportunities. And didn't want it. It just there's something about. I feel like if I did know how to fix cars, I'd stop every time there was a car on the side of the road. Just be like, pop open that hood. Let's see what we can do here.
Take a look, buddy. Let me take. I saw you got some steam coming out of your tailpipe there. Let me take a look at what you might be your piston.
Tailpipe's where you want things coming out of.
Let's take a look at your spark plugs.
Yeah, I mean, like I would always be wearing overalls. Mm-hmm. Always,
just full
jean overalls.
Lean into it.
Yeah, and I'd want to stop and be like, I think I could help that person with their car right here.
But you don't want to be inconvenienced.
No, it's that I didn't even wash my own car when I was a car detailer. I would wash other people's cars, and I was just like, I'm done. I don't want to look at cars. I don't care about cars so much. Yeah, I think as long as it gets me from point A to point B.
I'm kind of the same way. I like well-made things.
I know you do.
But I've said this before. I'm not really impressed by like a new Lambo or like a fancy new
How often
Rolls
are people bragging
Royce.
about their new Lambos and Rolls Royces?
All my friends are always talking about their new Lambos.
Your fat cat friends. I forgot about that.
But if you can just buy it with a lot of money, I'm not that impressed. What I think is cooler and much cooler is like something that's like a rare, like a James Bond style, like I don't know, Mercedes. What does he drive? Like a
Porsche, maybe?
I don't know. Whatever, like a James Bond.
Never
era,
really watched James Bond.
60s, some rare car that's like cool and old.
Yeah,
like that's cooler to me than like a. Look at this brand new 2022 Corvette.
Couple of
Not impressed.
I know a couple. Yeah, I know a couple of people that the old cars is kind of their jam, and
I think it's pretty cool.
And I'm like, yeah, go for it. But like, as for me over here,
as for me in my house,
if it rolls, not like a Rolls Royce, if it moves, and it doesn't cost me a lot to fix it every few months.
Yeah,
I'm fine with it.
The thing with cars is if it's not like a mind-blowingly cool car, it's just another car.
Yeah.
It's not like someone's getting excited about like a Tundra, except for people that are just super into Tundras. Or like, a mid-level like what's this like a basic kind of entry-level Mercedes or something. I mean, it's nice,
Yeah.
but it's not like people are like, unless it's like a, what do you call it? What are the cars that people are really into?
The new Broncos, a lot of people are really into.
People like those Broncos.
They love those Broncos.
I don't really know much about cars, so I don't know why I'm talking about this subject.
If I saw a Volkswagen bus, I'd be pretty excited. You know those things, those
I heard
vans?
they're revamping that and coming out with a new one.
Yeah,
like,
but
I heard that
never
like
saw
years
it.
ago.
I never saw. There was like supposed to be like a fully electric one, and I was like,
Maybe
that would be tempting.
Maybe it got scrapped. Couldn't make it work.
Actual scrap, like the metal for scrap metal.
Couldn't make it work.
But I don't know. I think I would. I like that. I'm excited to see like things like that. Like, ooh, it's super cool looking because when I was a kid, it looked super cool. And maybe it's a nostalgia thing.
Probably. Yeah. Wow.
What a good list show.
Wish we.
Maybe we should both choose to pick one of our expertise and take some steps in it.
Yeah. What's yours that you?
Cello.
What's yours that you could pursue? What could take a step towards mine? I know what mine is.
I threw all my cards.
The most practical one for me would be typing.
Boring.
I gotta learn to type, guys. It's time. But I'm afraid the neural pathways are too solidified.
Yeah.
Can I relearn?
Yeah. I'm just texting at this point. I'm
I
sorry
know.
about that. My mom texted me about my child. She's watching our children. Thanks, Ma.
Yeah, thanks, Mom. Appreciate it.
Are
you literally just texting on the pod?
I'm looking at I threw all my cards.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm looking at something safe cracking. Oh man, I want to do that so bad. But Sushi Cheffery is probably the only thing on my list that I actually could take steps towards. Unless I want to get a cello and
get you a
let's be
sushi
honest.
kit. I'm sure they sell them on Amazon.
I don't know if I want to eat my own sushi.
Rice paper and sticky rice. And,
I feel like I'd make myself sick.
Yeah, you can't be playing with fish.
You know what? I'm not gonna do any of the things on my list. Maybe bushcrafting or woodworking. I might whittle a little more.
Okay.
A whittle more.
All right.
Well, have fun typing, I suppose.
Yeah. We'll be back next week. We're in production mode. This is
high pro.
We're going for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Putting it out so you can just take a break from the nonsense, laugh a little bit, hopefully relive some things, have some nostalgic moments.
Yeah.
Definitely, if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, hit the subscribe button. If you're anywhere like on YouTube, hit the notification button for sure to be notified when we release a new ep or video. A new sode. And we'll see you next time, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose we will.
Brothers on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Brothers!
Brothers!
I was just off, just a hair.